a big part of what I do is educating my clients so that after you work with me, you still know how to move forward in business. You know how to create strategic financial relationships. You know how to talk to a banking institution. You know how to properly apply for capital. You know how to properly manage that capital once you get it, right? But you have to learn these things. And it's okay that you don't know, but you also have to be able to identify what you don't know and go seek the information, go seek the people who do have what you need.
Absolutely, because and again, I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that people understand, because I've told you this before. The way that they traditionally teach business is bullshit,
Yeah.
because they act like there's a right answer. It's like, okay, I give you this case study, which by the way is made up in the first place.
Yeah.
You give me a set of answers, which again is made up in the second place,
Yes.
and then I tell you that it's right or wrong based on the made up answers I have in my head that I
Yeah.
expected to see. The thing
Mhm.
about, and again, one of the things I appreciate that you do is that you don't try to treat people like they are two different beings when it comes to business.
That's
You
right.
know, and I appreciate the fact that you've been able to explain, weave that
Yeah.
explanation in to the conversations about being a business owner. You know, it's not
Yeah.
like, if you have a bad day in the morning, it doesn't, you don't, as soon as you walk into the office, it's not like, yes, I have no problems at home and everything. And so
That's right.
now I'm just,
That's
it
right.
is all still part of you. How
That's
do
right.
you, like, what kind of advice do you give to people who have had financial trauma, who have had these types of, like, and always the bill collectors and people always, every time you pull my credit, there's something, that kind of tension, that type of anxiety. Like, I have known a lot of business owners who could have blown up, but because they did not resolve some of those things, it kept holding them down. So how do you even, in your in your professional, very learned opinion, how do you advise people to try to navigate through those spaces?
So the thing is that you have to address it. A big part of our issue is that we like sweeping things under the rug. We
Mm-hmm.
prefer to not discuss our issues, not to discuss our traumas, because it's trauma. It's financial trauma, and it comes from somewhere, right? Really,
Mm-hmm.
it comes from multiple places. But
Mm-hmm.
what I encourage clients to do is to really be able to self-assess and to really conduct what I call a self-reflection, to
Mm-hmm.
think about your childhood, to think about what you saw growing up. Were your parents always dodging bill collectors? Did you see a ton of eviction notices? Did you
Mm-hmm.
see your parents always cash poor? Did you see them maxing out credit cards?
Mm-hmm.
What did you see? What did you grow up around? What did your environment around you foster, right? Because those things, though that being, that state of being, it plays in our mental and we carry that with us, and that helps a lot of people develop a scarcity mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're so used to not having, they're so used to not being able to achieve X, they're so used to seeing their family struggle that it's ingrained in them at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You have to identify it, talk about it. Don't just try to skip over it. You actually have to go
Mm-hmm.
through it so that you can get to the other side of that. Identify those root issues and be able to address them, even if it came from parents and guardians who aren't here anymore. Being able to tell yourself that you are not them, that your future, right, is not dictated by your past.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you went through. That was something that you encountered. But
Mm-hmm.
guess what? We survived that. And now we're looking to start thriving. A lot of us are stuck in survival mode. We're stuck thinking, oh, pause, time
Well,
out.
yeah, give me a second. I'm gonna give you the whole screen because I feel a sermon coming on, and you said we stuck inside. No, I got to give you the whole screen on this because I can't. Yeah, okay. So those of
Yeah.
you all who familiar with the black church, you know that part where they start preaching, and then you hear the organ. Dan, I was like, I just heard the organ in my head. I'm gonna give you the whole screen. Go ahead, tell them. Hey,
You know,
tell them about survival mode. Go ahead.
way too often we are stuck in this place of survival, which is the same as that place of scarcity, right? We go from working a job, living paycheck to paycheck, right? Always being cash poor, maxing out credit. And then we think that starting a business is going to save us from that, when it technically doesn't. It just provides you another avenue to suffer from those same exact traumas. That's why we see people going from work working jobs, living paycheck to paycheck, to working in their business and being cash poor, not being able to pay themselves, not being able to grow and scale and hire other people so that they can delegate. We find these business owners being stuck working in the business so hard that they can't come out and work on the business to prepare that business for growth. But again, that's a part of our mindset. That's a part of scarcity. That's a part of lack. That's a part of just surviving, doing just enough to get by. And as we can see with inflation rates, as we can
Mhm.
see going through COVID, I mean, and monkeypox now, we don't know what that's going to turn
Yeah,
into.
yeah.
We cannot continue living like that. We have to address the issues at the root, right? And a part of addressing it at the root is being honest with yourself. Sometimes we don't want to be honest with ourselves and say that, hey, I am my problem.
Mm.
Hey, my
Mm.
spending is my problem. Hey, my scarcity mindset, my stinking thinking is my problem.
Mm.
You got to be honest with yourself. Once you're able to address those things, your mindset, your money mindset, your that financial acumen that you don't have, when you identify that, you're able to then start to pull in the right resources so that you can start learning what you need to learn to better manage your money. Once you really start managing your money properly, both personally and in business, because when you're a business owner, it is not one or the other. You have to do both simultaneously. It is this and that, right? Because your personal finances and business finances are almost like married entities, kind of,
Yep.
right? What one of them do definitely directly impacts the other. So once you learn how to properly manage your personal finances, properly manage your business finances, then you ultimately start to learn how to multiply that money. Now you actually are starting to see, right, the fruits of your labor. You're starting to allow your money to do work for you so that you can stop working so hard for your money. We trade so much time for money, and a lot of times it's not even worth it. We're
Mm.
exhausted, depleted, and still broke.
You ain't never lied